Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to discuss with vicarious liability. So vicarious liability means liability of one person for the act that is done by another is known as vicarious liability. So example we can take is liability of principal for the tort of his agent and liability of partners for each other's tort. So, in this case, what happens is one person, if he does in the course of his employment, then the master or the principal will be liable for that offense or the tort. So, the liability, that is the vicarious liability, it arises from different kinds of relationship. So, first let's discuss with the principal and agent relationship. So, in this, the principal, if he authorizes some act to the agent, then the principal will be liable for such an act of the agent. Okay. And the condition is that if that act is done in the course of performance of his duty as an okay. So a famous case law is that case law Lloyd versus Graysmith and Company. So in this case the defendants were held liable. So here managing clerk of a firm was a solicitor and he committed a fraud against a client, and the client was a lady. That is, he transferred her property to his own name. So in this case, here the defendants were held liable. That is, even though managing clerk has committed such an act, there the company was held liable for such tort because it was committed in the course of the performance of his duty as an agent. Okay, so detailed video if you need or the explanation you need, then you can click the link in the description. You'll get the explanation of this case law. Now the second relationship we can see is between partners. So if one partner commits any tort, then what happens is all other partners of the firm will be liable for the tort as the guilty partner. As the first partner, all other partners will be liable. That is, here the liability of the each partner is joint and several. Okay, so this is the relationship between a partners in case of vicarious liability. And the next type of relationship is between master and servant. So, if the master is liable for the torts which is committed by his servant in the course of his employment, okay, if he is doing his duty or if he is in the course of his employment, the servant is committing a tort, then the master will be held liable. So here the both are liable. That is, master is also liable, even the servant is also liable here. And this becomes a joint tort feasors, and the liability will be joint and several here. Okay. Now let's see the vicarious liability of the state. So first let's look into England. So in England, the common law was in practice. So king can do no wrong was in picture. So what happened is the king could not be sued in tort for the wrongs that was actually authorized by him. Even though the king has authorized the servant to do any act and the servant has committed any act in the course of his employment also, the king was not liable for the tort of the servant in the course of his employment. Okay. So here the individual, that is the servant, if he does any act, then he'll be the wrongdoer, right? So he will only be personally responsible and no defense of orders of the crown can be taken. That is, the king has authorized me to do, so that I have done. No, this defense cannot be taken by the servant here. So but after passing of the crown Proceedings Act of 1947, what happened is the Crown was held liable for the tort which was committed by the servant, and the concept of king can do no wrong changed. Okay. Now in India we can see under Article 300 of the Constitution it says that government can be held liable. They can be held liable for the wrongful acts which is committed by its employees during the course of their official duty. If the employees has committed any wrong which was when they was in the course of their official duty, then the government will be held responsible. That is in case of India. Okay. So this is all about vicarious liability, and to see more case laws related to this concept, I have put the link in the description so you can refer those links. Thanks for watching.